Hey guys, the lighting is really fucked up. What's going on? This week's episode is episode 21. We've only got 2 episodes left, and by the time it's the season finale, I will have met Jared Padalecki and Misha Collins and everybody. I've probably said this before. This episode is called King of the Damned, and it was amazing. I was really looking forward to this episode as soon as I saw the sneak peek, the promo trailers. Yeah, it did not disappoint, and I really loved it. It was every sort of main character of the season. So there was Sam and Dean, there was Cass, there was Crowley, and there was Abaddon. And so it was just amazing. The only person missing, obviously, was Kevin, and that was really sad. To see if I can actually remember what the hell happened in this episode. We start out, and there is sort of a meeting going on in a bar, and another guy comes over and is talking about how, he's with Metatron, all this stuff. And then he leaves, and he gets captured, and he's sort of basically tied up. And he hears footsteps, and he's saying, "Is that him?" As in Metatron. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's him." And then, who turns up? Castian. He's like, "Yeah, Cass!" And basically, Cass has got this massive, sort of base camp now. It's kind of crazy. He is now the leader of this thing, and he said, well, there's no one else who wanted to lead. They all followed me, so, shit happens. So yeah, he doesn't particularly want to be followed like that, but he is, and so he has to deal with it. Yeah, and Sam and Dean have come over because Cass cannot get any information out of this angel that they've captured, so he's saying basically, "Sam, Dean, can you do it for me?" So they're a bit like, "Oh, okay then, fine." And they start basically taking the absolute piss out of this dude. And they go, "Oh yeah, he's just a nobody, he's just a fan, you think you know him, but he doesn't know you. Oh, that's cold, Sam. Ooh." It was the first time Sam has been laughing in a long time, and it was really nice to see him happy, but it was kind of weird at the same time because it was sort of slightly out of place, but I really did like that scene anyway. I've completely forgotten to mention anything that is to do with Crowley or Abaddon because I'm smart. So, the start of the episode, before all the stuff with the angel, Abaddon, and she'd come to find Crowley's son. It was kind of funny because the place that was in Scotland that they were meant to be in was a place that I went through last weekend when I was in Edinburgh. Fun fact for you. And she captures him because he is going to be her bargaining chip to get Crowley to agree with her. She is saying basically, "Come with me, and we can kill the Winchesters, and then I'm going to kill you, and then we can sort it out afterwards." And obviously Crowley's like, no. So then she brings his son in, and because he's slightly human now because he's been addicted to the blood, he's, a bit like, "Oh," and Abaddon's torturing the poor guy and stuff. But yeah, then they sort of converge eventually. Dean and Sam have to go find the first blade. They get a call from Crowley who's saying Poughkeepsie, here comes. Which is Sam and Dean's code word for drop everything and run, but they didn't quite understand. They were just a bit confused. They have to go find the first blade and basically dig it out of a corpse, a fresh corpse, and it's gross, and I nearly threw up. And Sam nearly threw up, and, they get into the hotel where Abaddon and Crowley are, and Crowley's been shot with a bullet with a little pentagram on to stop him from, basically making him powerless, and he can't move, as in he can't smoke out. So he's pretty much sort of stuck where he is. Dean and Sam were going to sort of check out different parts of the building, and Dean went up to found Crowley, and Abaddon was there. And Abaddon was pinning him against the wall going, yeah, you're no match for me, you're not gonna, he is going against her and her power, and so she's trying to force him back, and he's just like, very slowly like, nah, nope. And then he drops the blade, but he managed to sort of telekinesis it up into his hand again, which I was like, telekinesis, yay. And then he kills Abaddon. Abaddon is dead on the floor. She's like shrieking, it's all dramatic. And then Sam comes in as Dean is just hacking away, like just stabby, stab. And he's sort of a bit freaked out because he's like, yeah, and nothing's really happening to you, is it? So I think Sam was slightly scared by that because he'd basically just seen his brother turn into a bit of a monster. I mean, yeah, he's killed her, she's dead, but he's still like... I completely forgot a bit about Castiel and Gadriel. They sort of went to talk to each other. You know, so Cass was just saying Metatron is playing you, and so Gadriel's sort of like not really sure now. He's kind of on the fence, and they get attacked by some angels, and so there's sort of a bit of mistrust on either side because they're sort of like, but did you send them? Did you send them? But neither of them had. So Gadriel's sort of like starting to consider that he wants to maybe like go with Cass instead. You know, at the end, Crowley and his son Gavin are he's sort of saying goodbye to him, but at the same time he was going to take him back to his own time. He knew the ship that his son goes on sinks, and so he'll die, and so he's keeping him in the present day and basically leaving him, you know, to deal with himself. Yeah, I really did like Gavin. You know, I wasn't sure what I thought about him to start with, but actually, although he was a bit awkward in places, he was actually really good. Likes. I just loved the Scottish part at the start, though I couldn't work out if it was actually Scottish people or if it was people putting on a Scottish accent, because at times it sounded like a real Scottish accent and the other times it sounded like someone putting it on. But I just like Scottish stuff, so yeah. Cass! Cass! I miss Cass, so every time Cass is on my TV or computer, depending, it makes me very happy. So yeah, I always miss Cass when he's not there, and this is a really Cass heavy episode, and so I was really happy. I kind of love that they're calling him Commander, but kind of not, because although I'm really happy that people are following Cass, and you know, they're gonna follow and they're gonna help him, and so he's not on his own. I don't know, I think I'm so used to him not being like a leader and being more sort of on his own and the kind of rebel angel. So I thought it was really cute they were calling Commander, but at the same time I was so sad because I was like, yeah, but he's normally like his little lone rebel, but you know, what you gonna do. I liked the base camp that they sort of were living in, well, not living, and they had like the tracking device trying to find Metatron, and they were bringing in all these different angels, and I thought it was really cool how they set up this little thing, but at the same time, again, it's sort of like, I prefer Cass in a way when he is not a leader. Oh, Cass hugging Sam Dean is just freaking adorable. Like, he just like hugs his little smile, like, I love you too. And they just, aww. And he hugs Dean, and Dean's kind of like, but Sam, he freaking loved it. He's like, hey buddy, slap on the back, I love you. And like, when they sort of pulled apart, Cass was kind of still holding Sam. It was really adorable. He's sort of like half holding him. I'm not saying anything like ship-wise, I'm just saying it's adorable, okay, calm down. I liked the whole Abaddon and Crowley sort of meeting to start with, and about when she dies, he's going to be bursting into song. I can't actually remember much of that scene. But it was really good, because I like stuff like between two enemies kind of thing. I just put Crowley's son. I think I wrote that very early on in the episode, but I haven't changed my mind. I loved how, you know, sort of how innocent he was. He hasn't seen all these things before, like the light bulb, and how he couldn't read, but then he suddenly read. But also how Crowley was sort of protective over him, but just trying not to show it at the same time. I loved how he was saying, like, and he's like, oh yeah, I don't care. And then, you know, Abaddon was getting really bad, and he's like, okay, you prove a point, stop. And she's like, yeah. I really, really loved Sam and Dean being complete arseholes to that angel. Basically going, yeah, he's such a loser. And for the first time in forever, Sam was laughing. I love the phrase, the quote, can you cook a pigeon on it? About the light bulb, because he's never seen one before, and it's just so cute. I just loved Sam and Dean, just, you know, as I've said before, but there was a bit of a cut in between with the scene with Gavin. You know, Sam and Dean just being arseholes, and Sam saying, oh, but they'll never know you, and Dean's like, oh, that's cold, Sam, and they're just laughing, and it was just so funny. And although I did sort of feel like it was out of place, at the same time I just really loved it. It was just really funny, and it gave a bit of comic relief to the episode, and it was really nice to see, like, Sam laughing and smiling. I mean, he was like playing kind of acting, but it was really nice to see that. Though at times it did just make me think that it was just Jensen and Jared taking the piss out of a poor guy who was tied up on a chair. Okay, I'm gonna try not to laugh when I say this quote because it's just so funny. So Gavin finds out why Crowley is now a demon, and he says, "You sold your soul for an extra 3 inches of willy." Yeah, Crowley, silly. He's too proud, clearly. I really love Sam and Cass having a chat. Like, I always love little Sam Cass moments. You know, of him just making sure that Dean's okay and all that. It's just adorable. I love you, Cass. I also just love Cass and Gadriel's talk and how they were so badass about fighting the other angels. And yeah, and I also like that Gadriel's starting to sort of question whether he's made the right choice and stuff. Sam complaining about the first blade being hidden in the corpse was just funny. I mean, it was obviously how I would react in the same situation. Come on, Crowley! Not with a corpse, in a corpse. That bit was really gross. Just FYI. I always love like slapsticky moments. Slapsticky. The one I'm talking about now is when Dean was resisting against Abaddon's power, like holding him back, and Crowley just randomly gets hit in the face with the lamp. It's funny. Ding dong, the demon's dead. Which demon? Abaddon! Ding dong, Abaddon is dead! Bye, Abaddon. Bye. And finally, goodbye scene with Crowley and Gavin about how he's saying, yeah, you'll be okay. You'll manage. Just don't say you're the Prince of Hell in front of anyone. Dislikes. I didn't like it when Abaddon was hurting Gavin. I mean, what has he ever done to you, Abaddon? Horrible person. Cutting the blade out made me feel actually physically sick, and I swear I gagged at one point. I had to look away, and it didn't help that like Sam was gagging too, so I was like, blah. Also, it really kind of freaked me out when there was the Hellhound chase before that as well. Like, I was like, I don't want this to be an abandon all hope moment. I mean, I guessed it wouldn't, but I didn't want it to be like an abandon all hope moment where like Dean or Sam get like gored to death, like Joe, God rest her soul. Oh, Joe. I miss you, Joe! But also, it really scared me kind of when Dean was stabbing the shit out of Abaddon, like, and Sam's like, no! Because I was actually, before I even watched this episode, when you couldn't see who he was stabbing at, although I could kind of guess it was Abaddon, I was kind of terrified in case it was Sam, in case he was just turning on Sam, and I was kind of scared that he was going to turn on Sam, and I really didn't want him to turn on Sam. But also what made me really sad was when, you know, Dean looked up and he just had a, like, deer in headlights face, like he was really scared, and I was just like, oh baby, it's okay. There are people outside. I'm kind of scared with how it's going to go. I hope it doesn't kill him, or I hope it doesn't lead him to kill Sam, or I hope it doesn't lead him to kill Cass, or anyone for that matter. I didn't actually write this down, but I'm also kind of sad that Abaddon is dead now, because, you know, although you want her dead because she's a complete bitch face, at the same time you don't want her dead because she's so funny and she's so awesome and she's a really good villain. I mean, my favourite will always still be Ruby. Not biased for the fact that I absolutely adore Genevieve, but I love Ruby. I really love Ruby, and I was really sad when she died too. In fact, because I've written a letter to Genevieve as well as Jared and Misha for Silent 12, I've even said about how my favourite scene in like the whole of Supernatural is her final scene. Not because she dies, but because her amazing speech about, I was the best of those sons of bitches. Did I cry? No, I didn't. If, like, Dean was hacking Sam to bits, then yes, I would have. If Dean was hacking Cass to bits, yes, I would have. If Crowley randomly killed Sam or Dean, yes, I would have. If Abaddon had actually succeeded in killing Dean/Sam or both, yes, I would have, but none of that happened, so no. My star of the show, I really suck, so I said everyone. And by everyone, I mean Jared Padalecki, and Jensen Ackles, and Misha Collins, and Mark Sheppard, and Elena. Because I couldn't decide because they were all awesome. I mean, like, you know, Jensen was really amazing with all the Dean, Michael Caine stuff, and Cass was really amazing with all the Cass stuff. That was really terrible explanation. And Sam, I mean, Jared was really good with the whole, like, sarcasm and all that stuff, and also, like, getting Dean to stop, and, you know, and then Crowley and Abaddon, well, just because they were freaking awesome in this episode, like, being all their demony, evil selves. I don't think I really need to explain that further. I gave it a 0 out of 5. I fooled you. I gave it a 5 out of 5 because it's amazing. I really love this episode, and I hope you did too. So, you know, if you have any comments, then put them in the comment box. You probably won't, but I don't care. Next week is, I can't actually, Stairway to Heaven is the next episode, and I can't really remember what there was in the promo. All I remember is Cass saying, I'm gonna be sick, and there was some Gadriel, and there was some Dean, and there was some Sam, and also some Cass, as I already mentioned, and probably Metatron, but I suck and I can't remember, so yay, good memory! So yeah, this has actually been a reasonably long review compared to the last few weeks, so I'm kind of proud of myself. So yeah, goodbye.